Are you ready to stop riding the emotional elevator of life? Are you ready to learn how to elevate your emotions that keep you psychologically traumatized or in an addictive behavior? You are in the right place. Here is your host, Sandee Byrd, trauma, addiction, life, and spiritual coach of the Emotional Elevator Show.
Well, welcome everyone. Of course, I am Sandee Byrd. I am the host here on Emotional Elevator on the Inspired Choices Network. And you're wondering, who is this Sandee Byrd? Why does she, when I watch her, hold this magic wand? Because this magic wand, and I have a few of them, is a magic wand like I was a fairy princess or a godmother, whatever, that wishes you to have joy, fun in your life, or wishes you had the life you desire. And that's what working with me as a coach. If you want, I pull out the wand and ask what it is that you wish for most in your life, and then we dive into it. Because if I could grant those wishes for you, I would. But sometimes you got to go through the hard stuff to get what you really want out of life. And if you've been following me on any platform, make sure you like and subscribe, comment. But if you follow me, you know I've gone through a very big journey of my own when it comes to reclaiming the joy and fun in my life, which this show is all about. But the trauma and triumphs that I've gone through in my life to be at this point in my life and why a magic wand. And I'm sorry to say it, but somehow my magic wand seems to be a little sticky, um, which is kind of funny because I'm the only one who touches it. But how I've come through life to really embrace the fun part of this magic wand. So, it's got a little glitter in it, but go in a little bit about me as a coach. So, I am not only a motivational coach that helps you to regain your life and who it is you want to be, whether you're in the next chapter of life like I am, or whether you're just starting to realize, you know what? I don't know what my life's purpose is. I don't know what my values are. I don't know really what motivates me to get up every day. I don't, you know, I don't know even what my learning modes are. I am the coach for you because we start by diving into that, figuring out who it is you are. And then we start working on programs. And I have three out there. And one of them is, of course, Unleash Your Authentic Self, Thriving Through Forgiveness, and Finding the Empowerment Within. Because those are three big areas that you have to realize that you can thrive through forgiveness. Forgiveness is all about forgiving those that have harmed you by getting your power back. And when you realize who you really are in life, that is your authentic self. See, I can tell you a little personal story on me. It was about maybe a year ago. I did not like that word. People out there, many coaches were, I'm an authentic person. And I was like, what does that mean? Because I did not know who my authentic self was. So I struggled with that. Well, now I don't, and I know how to help you realize who your authentic self is by going through a program with me and starting to dive into what are your values and not what your societal values are. What is true to who you are? What motivates you to get up every day? And what is your strengths in life? And then I had that program, of course, like I said, Thriving Through Forgiveness, because that is the biggest thing is we all have people out there that we want to forgive. And it's all about wanting to get that forgiveness for them, but it's about learning to forgive and let go without really having to worry about having that conversation with them and how you can thrive once you can release all that. See, I've had a lot of challenges around that too. But once you've really gained all that sense of power within you, how do you empower yourself out in life? How do you empower yourself to feel that worth and that value you have to have that job you desire or have the life that you desire? See, a lot of us have struggled through that all of our life that we don't realize what life is supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun and joyful and not buried by societal expectations or expectations you put on yourself that you felt you gained from your family. If you were in the church environment, if you have been involved in the society at all, then you know that you are sometimes buried beneath all of what is expectations that might not align with who you are. So that's telling you a little bit about me as a coach and the three programs I have to offer. And of course, you can find me at sandeebyrd.com. And that's Sandy, if you're listening to me and not watching, with two E's, Bird with a Y.com. You can also reach out to me if you want to get on a connection conversation at Sandy at emotionalelevator.com or Sandee Byrd coach at gmail.com, because I would love to get on a conversation with you and we can dive into all this. I am on social media platforms as Sandee Byrd, two E's, a Y, Byrd. So let's dive into what tonight is all about. Sorry. Tonight is about breaking barriers to reclaim. Oops, it just moved. Breaking barriers to reclaim joy and fun in your life. Do you know how to bring joy into your life? Do you know how to have fun? Do you rely on others to bring joy into your life? What does fun look like, feel like, act like? In this episode of Emotional Elevator, I, Sandee Byrd, the host, will jump into essential yet often overlooked topic of having fun. Many of us struggle to prioritize fun and miss the demands of work, family, societal expectations. I, Sandee, explore the common barriers to joy, such as guilt, perfectionism, and the belief that fun is frivolous. I offer actionable steps to rediscover playfulness, including setting aside time for joy, exploring hobbies that spark excitement, and learning to laugh at life's imperfections. I will use the acronyms to fun and joy to give you attainable solutions to bring them both into your life. And then I give you, because I was just telling someone that I wrote many manuals for training. I have been out there helping build businesses in my previous life, still part of my life now, where acronyms. You always got to have catchy acronyms to keep people, like servers and in retail, to keep people focused on what it is that they need to focus on. Serve. I mean, there's so many acronyms. I could sit here and go all night on these acronyms. But I always create acronyms for my clients. I was going to say students, my clients, I'm teaching classes as well, to help them to stay in what they are focusing on. So when it comes to fun, fun is F, focus on the present. U, unlock your inner child. N, nurture the new. Joy, just be present. O, open your heart. And Y, yield to playfulness. See, if you think about joy and fun, the first part of both of those words, focus on the present and just be present. That's where we all are caught up in when it comes to fun and joy. We don't feel we can be present. We're always focused either on the past or the future. I can't have fun right now because I got to work so hard because I want to have fun 50 years from now. And this is a big misconception. Why do we always do that? Like we work so hard, and I'm raising my hand. If you're not watching me, if you're listening to me, I'm raising my hand. I was that person that around 30, I had the kids, I had the home, I was working, I was providing, and I'm like, I can't have fun now. I can't have joy now because I need to feed my kids. I need to have this house. I need to have all these societal expectations, but I can't have fun. And then my kids are adults now. They do not live at home. They still, from time to time, need their mom. Um, but now I'm having fun when other people are like, no, 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 why aren't you still like doing all this work and stuff and waiting for your retirement? I don't know when that's going to be. See, I come from two parents If you've not listened to my story before, both my parents are deceased. I'm 55. Both my parents are deceased. My dad has been deceased for, I use my oldest son's age, for about 23 years. My mother has been gone for 7 years, about to turn 8 years around my birthday. So I lost them very young, if you think about it. My dad had, yes, he'd retired from his company and bought another, but he still worked. He still worked. Yes, he did a lot of things in his life that he enjoyed in his work, but he never really fully enjoyed life because he lost life too young. Now, my mother, she did have a lot of fun enjoying her life, but as I've also explained, she was an alcoholic. But she did incorporate fun and joy in her life. She just wasn't joyful in her heart. But she did do that, but she didn't travel. She didn't do any of the things that I enjoy doing. So I do bring fun and joy in my life, but that traveling and that is not what bringing fun and joy is into your life. And the biggest things that I love working with my clients is when we start working together and I'm like, so what brings you joy in your life? What motivates you to, continue doing what you're doing? And I love, because I'm a mindfulness coach, I am a breathwork facilitator, and I specialize in hypnosis. So the first thing they always want to say is, Sini, I know you're going to be proud of me. I meditate. Of course, I have this blank stare on my face because at this point I'm like, okay, how does that bring you joy? Is that fun? I mean, how does that bring you joy? Well, it grounds me. Okay, so how is that bringing you joy? Well, that I can, and then they start going into that. And I'm like, meditating, does it keep you present? Are you opening up your heart? Are you yielding to playfulness when you're meditating? Or are you focusing on that present moment and asking for your source, your angels, God, anyone to tap into you and kind of guide you through your day? See, some of that isn't being present, but I understand. I meditate every morning. I do get up and I'm grounded. I do feel calm, but am I ready and going, I've got so much joy in my heart, joy to the world? Not necessarily, because what that has done for me is it grounded me. But I'm going to give you some obtainable things to do in your life. And I'm going to give you an example how the universe always sends me signs before my shows, because today I had one that definitely incorporates joy and fun, because it was kind of an ironic situation. And then I right away afterwards started like writing it down. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this has everything to do with my show tonight, but it's about having fun things around you. Oh, I was about to say I lost it. My magic wand. This, for some people, brings joy to just sit here and kind of go, I have a magic wand. I have a magic wand. I can be a princess in a moment of the day, which is inviting that inner child within me, unleashing my inner child in my day. See, focus on the present, but I also like to use that F for flow. Flow with it. Flow with your day. Feel light as a feather. Flow as a feather and kind of lighten up your day. But I'm not just motiv- a mindset, a motivational coach. I'm also a corporate wellness facilitator. And what I bring to the corporate world is I bring in Lego Serious Play and Laughter Yoga, which both those incorporate a little bit of joy and a little bit of fun. Because if you've ever watched adults, leaders in companies build Legos and the fun that they have and the inspiration it brings in them, it unlocks that inner child. And then I know laughter yoga is not everybody's cup of tea, but when they get into it and start going, wow, this is weird and different, and oh my gosh, who's looking at me? But then they can release that, the joy that it brings into the heart and those dopamine and serotonin and all that comes rushing forward. And they get a sense of joy and fun because they're being present, they're allowing themselves to let go of the societal norm of perform, 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 perform. No, because we do a lot of that, but we don't bring that joy and fun into ourselves. But we're going to go on our first break. And when we come back, I am going to tell you about my day today and how that was a sign from the universe that this show is a much needed topic about having fun. But of course, like I said, if you're listening to me on any other platform, like and subscribe. If you ever want to come over here, you can come to Inspired Choices Network and join the chat room. And we you can ask me questions in the chat room and I can give you some solutions or what I give my clients solutions. But you can always reach out to me if you want to get on a connection conversation at sandeebyrd.com. And that's Sandy with two E's and BYRD because I like to have joy and fun in my life. So my names are spelled a little bit differently. Or you can reach out to me at an email, sandy at emotionalelevator.com or sandeebirdcoach at gmail.com. But let's get to that first break.
Are you living a life of psychological trauma or suffering from an addiction? Are you ready to learn new techniques to elevate your emotions without sustaining or obtaining them from substances that are not good for your mind or body? Then continue to tune into Emotional Elevator with trauma, addiction, life, and spiritual coach, Sandee Byrd, where you will learn techniques to elevate your emotions that don't require a magic pill, food, or impulsive behavior. Listen to Emotional Elevator with Sandee Byrd, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Mountain, 4 p.m. Pacific, on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Emotional Elevator with Sandee Byrd. To participate in this program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to sandy at emotionalelevator.com. Now, back to the program.
Well, welcome back, everyone. I was talking in the first half of the show about how sometimes we don't know what joy and fun is, and how I am an acronym queen, and fun is all about focus on the present. I don't know why I was doing this. And unlock your inner child, nurture, nurturing yourself. Nurturing is so big. Just be present, open your hearts, and yield to playfulness. Yes, I was looking at it because I am all sometimes feeling scattered. But I was talking about how sometimes when I start working with clients, and the first thing they say, I ask them is, what brings you joy? What motivates you? And they're always like, you're going to be so proud of me. I meditate. And I'm like, okay, so how does meditation bring you joy? And I also talked the first part of the show is that is one of the biggest things is when we can let go of all the distractions from societal, what is expected of us to work, 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 don't have fun, wait to have fun when you retire, or, you have kids, you can't have joy or fun. But you really need to incorporate that so you can teach your next generations what fun and joy and passion, that word passion is. Because as I was saying in the first part of the show, is I really didn't have all that. And I realized because both my parents have been deceased since I was under the age of 50. One of them died when I was in my 30s, one of them died when I was in my 40s, and how I don't I want to know that if I were to pass away tomorrow that I lived a joyful life, that I had fun in my life. And I also talk about how because I've reclaimed, I broke down the barriers and I'm reclaiming the joy and fun of my life. That's why I also became a corporate wellness facilitator. And I bring that joy and reignite creativity and passion in workplaces by using Lego series play and laughter yoga. And then the three P's, which I've already gone over in one of my shows, but it's all about re engaging. And one of the things with my corporate facilitating is sometimes when we're all in these workforce environments, we're not bringing joy to ourselves, which in turn is not bringing joy to who your client is. But also, you got to think about a lot of people now work from home and they felt liberated, but then they're not leaving their houses. They're not bringing joy in their life. They're not having fun. Yeah, they might be wearing their PJs because no one can see them and they might really enjoy their PJs, but they're not having fun and joy in their life. And how by creating this corporate environment to bring that passion and that inner child and that fun creates workplaces where they retain employees and they start seeing that employees are flourishing and coming forward with these ideas. So that's a little bit about the corporate side, but we're talking about you, my ideal client, and how I start incorporating fun and joy back into your life by asking these questions. What do you do? And a lot of my programs, I invite you, it's called a challenge, but I invite you to do something fun, to do something that brings you joy. And it doesn't mean with other people, it means things that you do for yourself. So now I'm going to get into the story from today, which was so ironic. And I was like, thank you, universe. Well taken. Well done. So this morning, I always go to a Kundalini class on Wednesday mornings. Well, I couldn't, but I knew I could make this other yoga class. So I did. Um, and I go in and we're doing everything. And when I go into yoga, it's all about focus, forget, be present. So I'm focused in the present. So I'm having a little bit of fun, joy. I'm also just being present. So I'm bringing joy and fun kind of in. And I always open up my heart. My inner child usually is not in the yoga class unless we start doing some laughing when I'm in Kundalini. But I nourish everybody around me and the connections there with me. So today we're doing yoga and we're getting into we're about to start another pose. And I did not feel this, but there had become a ladybug and it was just crawling on my hand. So I am definitely an animal person. I speak animal spirits and really gather into the animal spirits. So if you want to reach out to me about that, because you seem to keep having deer cross your path or these birds, there's a meaning behind it, but I definitely did. So the ladybug's on me and everyone's starting to lay down, and I am now in fun and joy mode. The inner child came out, got a ladybug. You got a ladybug. Of course, there's a woman next to me and she's wondering because everybody else is laying down in this pose. And I'm like, there's a ladybug on me. And I'm letting it crawl and I'm just kind of focused on it and I'm being present with it. And I'm smiling and I'm being a kid because it's just, I'm wanting it to crawl all over me. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my gosh, let me focus. I came to do yoga. And so I go and I get my block and I'm putting the ladybug on the block, like, come on, go on the block. And it's trying to crawl more towards me. And I'm like, no, 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 we're going to go on the block. And then I'll put it down. And then all of a sudden, I'm just watching it. And by this time, the instructor who does know me is like, everything okay? Like, she's looking at me, are you okay? You know, because they're all like laying down and I'm like sitting up and I'm like, something's going on. Like, am I in pain? Am I having a cramp? But at the same time, I'm really enjoying the ladybug. And I'm being a kid. I got a ladybug. There's a ladybug on me. And finally, the ladybug got on this block and I put the block down. And then the ladybug's going after the person next to me stuff. And she didn't know what it was. She's like focused in the class. And then it's going up the wall. But then I got back into yoga and I just kind of really focused on that. But I realized when I got up and she came over, I was near the lights and she came over and she goes, is everything okay? And I said, yeah, I had a ladybug. And she's like, yeah, we get a lot of, and I said, yeah, I picked up a couple of them before and taken them out. And when I came in, I noticed these spots on the floor, which meant we had some ladybugs probably get stepped on. But I sat there and everyone's leaving and I'm just journaling in my phone. I had a ladybug. But it made me realize why the universe sent that to me today was because here I was in a yoga class where the first thing I do when I get in yoga is I get early and I kind of sit down and focus. I'm going to be present. I'm going to be, tune out, get rid of those distractions. That's what focusing on the present and just being present is. Get rid of the outside distractions. I don't have to worry about any phone calls. I don't have to worry about that I had an appointment at noon. I didn't have to worry about anything. This was my time. So I was going to enjoy joy and I'm just going to go with the flow and have fun with it. A lot of people say yoga is not fun, but to me it is because it's strengthening my body and stretching it. So anyway, here I am. I unlocked that inner child because the ladybug I didn't feel it crawling on me, but then I saw it and I was like, oh, got a ladybug. And I just spent that moment diving into this ladybug. And what are you trying to tell me? But oh my gosh, it's a ladybug. And I realized it was trying to tell me that it doesn't matter what's going on around me. When my inner child wants to come out, allow it. See, that is another big part of this that I'm going to go into too. But I opened up my heart with that ladybug. Like, oh my gosh, here I am in the middle of a yoga class, and I am thrilled that I have a ladybug crawling on me. And then I'm watching it and I'm looking at it and I'm studying it and it's a ladybug. And look how beautiful this ladybug is. And I'm kind of like, oh, I'm going to go outside today. I want to be outside in nature today. And I kind of had moments of playfulness because I was like, the ladybug's going from one hand to the other. It's crawling on my finger. I'm trying to get it on a block at this point, and it doesn't want to be on a block. It keeps coming back to me like, come on, let's play, let's play. And I let go in that moment to enjoy the experience and fun I had with a ladybug. And that's the biggest thing about bringing that fun and joy back in your life is embracing being present. See, most of the time, and I was probably that person 5 years ago. Ooh, there's a ladybug on me. I'm in yoga. Let me do my yoga. Let me get to that downward dog. Let me make sure I'm doing my postures. Let me do that. But that's what has changed and evolved for me is today my inner child said, "We have a ladybug. Look at this ladybug. How fascinating is that ladybug?" And I got to bring this inner child out, not to work on my inner child and heal my inner child, but to embrace my inner child. And that is another big topic about that inner child work that we do. We want to tell it, tell our inner child it's safe and everything, but we don't invite it into our lives to what is it you missed out that you want to embrace? See, these these some of us have, some of us don't anymore, but we work these long hours and these chaos and we have families, but we don't ask ourselves, what do we want to do today? And it's all about yielding to playfulness too. Like, what could I do today? Because we're always worried about inviting people to, hey, do you want to go see a movie with me? Do you want to roller skate with me? Oh, well, you don't want to go. Okay, I'll just sit here at home. And that's what I encourage and challenge my clients is do something that you want to do and not worry about who else you do it with. Just focus on your fun, your joy, and what it brings to you. Because we have so many distractions out there. A lot of us have the work, have our relationship, our marriage or our relationship. And then we also have kids, extended families, maybe even organizations, maybe even nonprofits that we volunteer for, maybe even a church. So we have all these distractions, but we don't set time aside for ourselves to have fun or to have joy. And I make sure with my clients that they set aside time to do something for themselves. If it means they sing for 5 minutes a day, they laugh, they dance. But we're going to dive even more into this because it is time for our second break. And like I said, you can always find me at Sandee, Sandee, Byrd, BYRD.com, social media. Right now, I am taking a break from that social media. You'll see some things on there, but every once in a while, I take breaks from social media because I don't buy into it. And I want people to be drawn to me through me and my coaching, not because I paint the perfect picture of myself. But again, you can also send an email to me to get on a connection call at sandeebirdcoach@gmail or Sandy at Emotional Elevator. But it's time for that second break.
Are you living a life of psychological trauma or suffering from an addiction? Are you ready to learn new techniques to elevate your emotions without sustaining or obtaining them from substances that are not good for your mind or body? Then continue to tune into Emotional Elevator with trauma, addiction, life, and spiritual coach, Sandee Byrd, where you will learn techniques to elevate your emotions that don't require a magic pill, food, or impulsive behavior. Listen to Emotional Elevator with Sandee Byrd, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Mountain, 4 p.m. Pacific, on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is Emotional Elevator with Sandee Byrd. To participate in this program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to sandy@emotionalelevator.com. Now, back to the program.
Well, welcome back. Tonight's topic is all about bringing joy and fun back into life, reclaiming it in your life. Because as I've been talking about in the first half of my show, which I want you to go back and watch or listen to, is that we spend so much time bogged down with societal norms, what is expected of us as parents, as moms, as caregivers, that we don't enjoy fun in our life. We don't prioritize it. We struggle with having fun. And when it comes to joy, when we're feeling joyful and somebody else is sad or something's going on, we feel guilt. Like, why am I feeling joy and they're upset? Or when we have that perfectionism in us. And myself as a coach, one of the questions I like to ask my clients in all of my programs, um, unleash your authentic self, thriving through forgiveness, and find your empowerment within, is all about joy and fun. And even with my corporate coaching, my corporate wellness, I'm a corporate wellness facilitator. I bring in Lego serious play and laughter yoga and the 3 Ps, which I've talked about on my show, promoting powerful positivity. It's all about bringing that joy and fun back into our lives. See, we let all of society and everything just take that away from us when we should be inviting it back. And the reason I speak a lot about this is it's been out there for years now, and I've done a lot of the work on it. And I work with people on healing that inner child, making the inner child, talking to it, bringing it in, telling it it's safe and it's loved. And oh gosh, look at where we are now. But we don't bring back in what is it you missed as an inner child? What did you enjoy doing as an inner with your as a child? And that's why today it was so important for me. And as I spoke about in the beginning, today I went to a different yoga class and a ladybug crawled on me. I didn't feel it crawling on me. And then I spent a couple of minutes going, I got a ladybug. And I let the ladybug crawl. Everyone else is, doing their yoga. Everyone's laying down and I'm still sitting up. They're tuned me out because they're yogis. And I'm just like a kid. I got a ladybug and I'm letting it crawl on me because I invited that child part in me and I was present in the moment in myself to say, okay, do we flick the ladybug off? I wouldn't flick the ladybug off, but do I push it, brush it off, and then go back to doing it? Not scared of a ladybug. Or do I just embrace the moment of being an inner child and nurture that newness? And it also yield to playfulness because I'm like, okay, I'm going to get you on this block. And then when it didn't want to go and it kept climbing on me, I'm just enjoying the moment to be that kid, to embrace the kid in me, to say, this is fun. I'm enjoying myself. Yes, I might be missing out in, I think it was like maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes of yoga, but it's okay because I actually was enjoying myself. I was bringing joy in and fun to have this ladybug that I'm trying now to get off onto this block. And it's just like, no, 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 I want to stay with you. I want us to have this bond. And it's that. And like I say, those are moments that most of us can't capture because we're so bogged down with expectations of life, being that mom, being, and I'm not saying don't have fun and enjoy being a mom. That's not what I'm saying, or a caregiver or in a relationship. But I'm saying, like, you've got to be able to bring joy to yourself in order to provide joy for others. How much fun is it to watch other people have fun and you just kind of sit on the sideline and go, God, I wish I could have some fun. Why can't you? Why can't you? What is stopping you from having fun? And like the acronym from fun is just focus on the present. Be present with yourself. If you're working from home and you have a 5 minute break and you want to ask, I'm not going to say her name because then she'll start playing something, but ask, you know, that S person or that A person, hey, play this. And they start playing for you to sing at the top of your lungs or to dance. See, that's the biggest thing I work with my clients on is to challenge, embrace the side of them that they have like just buried within themselves and start doing it. And how can you, watching me, how can you do that? By just be present, which is part of joy, and focus on present, which is part of fun, and ask your inner child, invite it and say, what would you like to do right now? I've got 10 minutes, 20 minutes. What would bring you, what would make you happy right now? Have a dance party. Well, have a dance party. I'm hungry. Let's go get something to eat. Go out to eat with yourself. This is one of the biggest challenges I do, and I teach a class on self, is I challenge people to go have dinner, breakfast, lunch, whatever you want with yourself and just sit there. Doesn't mean take your phone in and scroll on social media. That is not the challenge I do. What I do is I say, sit there, people watch. When was the last time you did that? By yourself. And don't people watch and go, oh, look at that happy couple. Oh, I wish I. No, just look and watch and embrace and take in that joy of just having that ability to do that for yourself. And like the N in fun is nurture the new. Nurture the new. What can you change in your life? What can you do different to bring fun and joy? What would be something new and exciting for you to do? See, I've had a lot of fears in my life, and I've overcome them by challenging myself to do them, which has brought a lot of joy and fun in my life. And by doing that, I've let go of a lot of unexpected feelings within myself that I was holding on to that wasn't protecting me. It was just holding me back from living the life I'm meant to live. And like I've already started saying, when you do inner child work, do you invite your child to do things? Because working with me, I do a lot of challenges with yourself, not with speak up and speak to this person, but if you were to have the perfect conversation with that person, what would it feel like? Imagine it. I bring in the senses and I ask you these questions. And if getting you a magic wand to get you in touch with that person inside of you that wants that joy and fun, then it's that. And like I also talk about as a corporate wellness facilitator, as I go in and I'm like, what brings you joy in your life? I want you to build it. And then most of the time it's how can you bring that joy into your workplace? Because most of the time they're leaders and sometimes it's everyone. And then the table starts building together. What what's fun look like for you? And then they build something. And then as a table, wow, it would be fun for us to do paintball, or it would be fun for us to not go throw axes and start drinking. Don't necessarily promote that, but what would be fun for us to have bring in a karaoke machine one Friday and have karaoke Friday? Wow. When companies are all of a sudden starting to incorporate fun activities, and then it's also engaging with when you have people that are in home, working from home now, who have become remote. Because a lot of people, when you become remote, you realize 2 days go by and you don't go outside. But what are you doing to have fun? Are you doing a dance party? Are you laughing? Are you singing? Not just, okay, my day is over. It's 5 o'clock. I punched out. Now I'm going to go sit in front of the TV. No, what are you doing to engage fun within your life? And that's why working with me, I always have these challenges. I kind of call them other things like joy and fun activities to engage with themselves. What can you do to bring joy and fun in your life? Besides, if you're present, if you are present, and that is the biggest thing I tell people, be present, be intentional in being present. Because if you are intentional on focusing on the present, which is the F and fun, and just being present, the J and joy, you will realize all of a sudden that voice can turn positive, and it can be that child. Let's turn on the music and sing. let me reach out to that person and tell them how much I love them. It's opening your heart. It's the O in joy, and unlock your inner child in fun. And then yield to playfulness. If anyone, well, everyone I think out there should, I think it was Pee Wee Herman that did the weird dance, or Elaine from Seinfeld. Seinfeld, she danced. What if you just did that? What if you got up for 5 minutes every day? Because these are the things I do challenge. And find something new you've never done. See, I love to roller skate, and I'll go roller skating by myself. I don't sit at home and say, oh, well, nobody can go with me, so I'm not going to go. No. If that's what I want to do and I have the time, and I don't necessarily have to plan for it, but if I do plan for it and I might have 3 people going with me and those 3 people can't go, I'm still going to go because it's important to bring joy and fun in my life. And that is one of the reasons why I took on Legos, because I did building blocks as a kid. They were not Legos. And then when my kids did Legos, I hated them because I stepped on them. They got stuck in my foot. But then I realized how much joy it brought them. So I now have Legos. Like, I really wish I got on here one time on my phone or something so I can show you. My office right now is full of Legos. I actually got a Christmas Lego set that I'm going to build one day. But I get Legos. I have drums. I have Moroccans. I have speakers. I have magic wands. I have, Play-Doh. I have kid things, and my clients are not kids. But when my inner child says, hey, we got 5 minutes, can we play with Play-Doh? I'll play with Play-Doh. Can we draw a picture? I am not a drawer, but let me tell you something. If my inner child wants to just draw, I'm going to draw. Can we build something with Legos? Can we just stare at this magic wand? Sing at the top of our lungs, plan a play date, because that's what this is about. And that's what I coach my clients on. It's about getting back to that joy and fun and getting away from being weighed down by everything. But it is time for our last break. Of course, you can find me. I am Sandee Byrd. I am the host here on Emotional Elevator, but on social media, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on TikTok, I'm on Emotional Elevator. You can find me under Emotional Elevator. You can reach out to me at sandeebyrd.com, which is my website, and start a program with me. You can reach out to me via email, sandeebyrdcoach@gmail.com, or Sandee at Emotional Elevator. If you want to get on a connection call, if you are ready to invite fun and love to be challenged on how to bring fun and joy in your life, I am the coach for you. So let's get to our last break.
Are you living a life of psychological trauma or suffering from an addiction? Are you ready to learn new techniques to elevate your emotions without sustaining or obtaining them from substances that are not good for your mind or body? Then continue to tune into Emotional Elevator with trauma, addiction, life, and spiritual coach, Sandee Byrd, where you will learn techniques to elevate your emotions that don't require a magic pill, food, or impulsive behavior. Listen to Emotional Elevator with Sandee Byrd, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Mountain, 4 p.m. Pacific, on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is Emotional Elevator with Sandee Byrd. To participate in this program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to sandy@emotionalelevator.com. Now, back to the program.
Well, welcome back. I'm not going to go through everything I've talked about because we only got a couple of minutes, but what I've basically covered is fun and joy and how to invite it back and what to do to bring it back in your life. And I go into a lot on describing these acronyms. Fun is focus on present, unlock your inner child, and nurture the new. Joy is just be present, open your heart, and yield to playfulness. And in the first half of the show, I kind of went through how we are too serious and how we're basically, when we are parents and we work and we have all these things weighing us down, we lose the joy in our life and how to regain it. And the challenges that I work with my clients on just getting that joy back. And then the second half, I talked about a scenario today where I had a ladybug and I was in yoga and I'm just like fascinated. My child part of me wanting to just play with the ladybug. But this last part, I'm just going to dive into how you can start incorporating joy and fun into your life. Is if you were to go on the perfect date, what would it be? What would it do? And invite all your senses in. Like, if you went on the perfect date, what would you eat? What would you do? What would it feel like? The perfect date. What would it feel like? What would it look like? What would it sound like? What would it taste like? What would it smell like? And now, and this is something I challenge my clients too with, you go on that perfect date, and the person you're going on that perfect date with is yourself. And do that. Don't do it with anybody else. And if it's not just a date, do it for a day. Do it for a day. Because here's the thing a lot of us do. We expect others to bring joy and fun into our lives. Well, they can't go roller skating with me, so I'm not going to go. No. Why don't you go? You might meet somebody else who's like, I come every week, you come. See, a couple of, it's been 6, 7 months ago, my daughter, I did a challenge with her because she works a lot. She lives on her own in this economy and works many, many hours. And I told her, I want you to find something that brings you joy and you have fun. I didn't mean for her to completely jump into that, but she did. She says, I've always loved bowling, Mom. She moved around the corner from a bowling alley just recently. She is now in a bowling league that went from like the bottom to fifth place. She started watching YouTube videos. She's one of the best bowlers, and she uses a two-hand bowl. She's a lefty, so when she does bowl hand, she does not have a thumb hole. She has 4 bowling balls now. She's the second best woman in the area for the most improved. And this has been maybe 7 months. Because when she went for it, she has now engaged in it. She works the schedule around it now because it brings her so much joy and fun. And she's been in tournaments now. And if you can see the way she lights up, because she decided, I'm going to incorporate this fun and joy in my life. And it's so rewarding to know that when I work with clients and I tell them to invite fun and joy in their life, I have a client that every Monday is at my laughter yoga and has taken a self class with me and works with me. And she incorporates fun and joy in her life. And some of it, those of you who say, well, I don't have the money for that. It's not about money. It's about what can you do? That perfect date can be going to McDonald's and then going and walking in the park and getting a ladybug and having it crawl on you. So figure out what your perfect date would be. Envision it, imagine it, feel it, everything, and do it, because that's my advice to you. And thank you for joining me tonight on Emotional Elevator. I am Sandee Byrd. I am the host. And join me next week, because next week, I had to write it down, is all about burnt out, recognize, recover, and reignite your life when you feel burnt out. So thank you. And reach out to me at sandeebyrd.com. Again, have a great night and enjoy and have fun.
Thank you for listening to the Emotional Elevator Show. Sandee returns Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Mountain, 4 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Until then, start elevating your emotions and stop riding the emotional elevator that is stopping you from living the life you deserve.